Hey, this is Glendon Cameron with another edition of HUSTLENOMICS. In this topic, this subject matter, what we're going to jump into today is the adaptation of new technology and platforms. This episode will be in podcast form. With that, let's just get into it. I'm an early adapter. I love the technology. I embrace it. I remember living a long time ago in Clayton County, Georgia, and I was the first person in the neighborhood to get DSL. Couldn't wait, was breathing down Bell South, which is now AT&T's neck. When can we get it? When can we get it? Because, I was just in love with the internet. But I think that I have done many of you a terrible, terrible disservice. Because in my quest of getting new technology, embracing it, and sharing it with you here in the Hustler Mindset Project, I didn't really give you the proper tools how to look at the technology. So what this podcast tutorial will be about is how to design your own development map. Give you an example. I use Ribbon for one run. And understand, when you see me do new stuff and I'm instantly put it up, I'm testing to see how it works, if there's bugs, and I am currently beta testing Gumroad. And when I do stuff, since you're in the hustler mindset, I throw it off in the Facebook group. And the thing is, a lot of people get excited and they sign up. And where I think that I was unfair and did many of you a disservice is I didn't give you the proper guidelines on how to do that, because if you are a reseller, you should work more on marketing, Facebook integration, blogging, whatever you can to sell your products. Because resell is very simple in terms of payment processing. You have a merchant account, you have Square for physical transactions, you have PayPal. All that stuff's pretty there. It's not a lot of variance between them. It really isn't. And just accept that, a merchant account, traditional one, is safer. There's all kinds of new stuff out there that can enable you to collect money from people for services or goods. So that's not the problem on how you get paid. The biggest problem as a reseller is how to sell your stuff as fast as possible. And Ribbon and Gumroad is not really going to help you with that. And, and it's just, I got a question, because, like the new technology is the new shiny thing and it's fancy and I like it and I get all hyped up. But if you're a reseller, Ribbon, Gumroad, any of these, what's called remote shopping cart technology, really isn't going to do a lot for you, because that's not part of your business matrix. It's not part of your business model. You, as a reseller, should look at improving efficiencies, building infrastructure, marketing, because you buy stuff at a discount and you hope to sell it at a premium, which gives you margin. That is the genesis of what you do, whether you're selling it on Amazon FBA, whether it's eBay. And one of the reasons that I really no longer wholeheartedly embrace the reseller model is under siege. You can still make a lot of scratch as a reseller. You still can. Do not even mistake me as saying that reselling is dead. And it's not. It's never ever going to die. It's just going to become more and more challenging to make money. And it puts you in a situation where you are trading time for money. And it could be a lot of money. And also, reselling is fun. So let's talk about you. Let's talk about developing your business development map. First thing is first, and this goes back to earlier sessions of the Hustler Mindset Project. As I put this together, and there were some people who just really didn't understand, perhaps I didn't do a really good job of explaining it, but everything that's in the Hustler Mindset Project is there for a reason. And people come in and kind of jump over stuff, and it's like, well, I really don't want to do that. And you're doing yourself a disservice because it's there for a reason. Many people are running to the internet. There are a lot of people who are unable to have conversations with strangers. It's become a very large part of our society that people are very indifferent to each other. So those that know how to connect online as well as offline will have a huge advantage in every area of their life, from business to personal relationships. Huge. Just the ability to be sitting somewhere and there's this person you don't know, and before you leave, they're your best buddy. That is the type of power that can make you rich and give you the life that you want. And that's why there's all that stuff that's in the beginning of the Hustler Mindset Project. I just looked. There's 90, for most paywall levels, there's 90 videos. It's about 50 hours of content. It's a lot of stuff. And I am going to kind of revisit some things, some stuff that I started before I got really busy. I'm going to go back to it because it was good actually having I don't know how I'm going to do it because there's limitations with each platform, because if you do Skype, you can only have so many people, and really the limit that Skype gives you isn't really the limit that you're going to face. You're going to face a limit based on the bandwidth of the presenter. That's what's really going to determine the limit. So if your bandwidth's kind of crappy or not up to business class, you'll never get up to the 100 people. And then when you do webinars, people can engage, but they can only ask questions because, once again, it's a bandwidth situation. So I'm really looking for a solution to essentially a virtual classroom. I need to look into it. I saw one thing, it was too expensive, but essentially I can, take a Google Hangout. If I could make a Google Hangout totally private and invite as many people as I wanted, I would do that but it's kind of once again, like a webinar, but the virtual classroom where, your camera pops on and I see you, you see me. It's coming, it's out there. I still got to look, but that's what I want to do. Because going back to what I was talking about, everything in the Hustler Mindset Project is there for a reason. Hustle University, all of that stuff. I want you to think about the Karate Kid. Wax on, wax off. And I recently was, like I said, I was 6. I was reading all this stuff that I didn't get time to read. And I read a lot of science journals. And, I'm working out hard again. And I'm doing a lot of research. And essentially, in that old movie, The Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi gave him exercises that enhanced his neural pathways. And that's what I'm trying to do. And it's just funny how all this stuff just kind of comes together when I get ready to do a tutorial podcast. That by going through those experiences, learning how to greet people, learning how to talk to your friends and families, because I do believe you can do business with friends and family. I have done business with friends and family for a long time. It's not always ideal if you get one person because everyone's not on the same level of honor, that if something funky happens, someone has to power down. Because if someone doesn't power down, then it becomes this thing that could go on for eons. So all of that stuff is there to groom you for the next level and the next level and the next level. So when you kind of jump over something or don't do something, or, there was one thing about going around the neighborhood knocking on doors. One person did it, and it was funny. This person said that they actually met 4 of their neighbors for the first time, and they lived in that neighborhood for 3 years. And it's like, some of them are really cool. And if it wasn't for the Hustler Mindset Project, they never would have met these people. So this is the type of stuff I'm talking about, because when I put it together, I added, it was strictly going to be the Hustler Mindset Project. Mindset only, like super learning, things about that, anything that could create or enhance your mentality. But then I got this idea what if I can kind of give them some ideas to make money to actually pay for this course? And, that came in. The Fiverr thing, it worked for a few, but it didn't work for most. Then Craigslist, it will work if you work it. There's some things there. But what the Hustler Mindset Project is moving towards is teaching you how to figure out you to get the best out of you. Because because everybody doesn't have the same level of motivation. Everyone doesn't want to have this big company. Everyone doesn't want to be this reseller. People are in different buckets. There's someone in a bucket where they're like, they want to be the resale gillionaire, and they have the determination and the tenacity, and they're just going to go for it. And then there are other people, and I'm actually in that bucket now, that want to create a robust business, but yet still maintain the freedom of choice and time to live the life you want. I'm in that bucket because when I started Resellology, I knew it would take a few years to get it up and running, and I jumped on it, and I was doing all this stuff, and I was like, ho, wait a minute, you've been through this before. What's in your goal? And really, my development, my business development map is Conundrum Media, Conundrum Publishing. That's 90% of what I do, because at the genesis of what I do, I am a content creator. And from that content creator, I'm a mentor, trainer, teacher. That's 90% of what I do. Now, the 10% of, Resellology is going out flipping stuff because it's fun. Reselling is fun. I would probably always do some form of reselling, but it is not my main gig. Because, for those of you who are getting reselling as of now in the last few years, the game has changed. It has totally changed. And the money's not the same. You will have to do far more to make what I made my first year, even in the business, because there's more people in the resale game because the economy is rough. There's a lot of people with degrees who are in the Hustler Mindset Project because they're not getting the maximum that they can out of their job, their life, because things have changed. This disruptive nation that we live in is no joke. But to developing your project development map, going back to figuring out you, coming up with what you want to do with your life. I'm going to give you examples, and from those examples, you can derive or create your own matrix. Say you are a parent, you have a spouse, and you have 2.2 kids. One that's still in the oven. Let's talk about the challenges of that and creating your new business development map. From the way that the world operates with 2, soon to be 3 kids, unless the spouse who goes to work is making close to $100K, if you're making like $50K and you've got 2 kids in daycare, it's anywhere from $800 to $1,500 a month. Childcare costs. You do the math on that, split it down the middle, and say it's just even 1,000. It's $12,000 a year from that 50. You're going to pay 20 in taxes, 18 and 20 between state and federal because you have a job and you're getting ganked. So 12 and 18 is 30. So now we're down to 20,000. Well, nope. You're getting in your car. You're going to work. In the car. The cost of your car is not just your car note. It's the gas. It's the insurance. It's all these other things. So that could be just conservatively $500, $600 a month. Say $550. That's $6,000. Now you're down to 14. Oh, you have to have a wardrobe, lunches, gas. So after paying all these expenses, your net income is roughly $12,000 to $15,000. So if you're in that situation, you have a talk with your spouse and say, look, crunch the numbers. One of us needs to stay home with the kids and develop a part-time business or get a part-time job because economically it's going to be roughly the same. So I give you that long, convoluted example because when you create your business development maps on your real life and where you want to go and with the things that you have, you're going to have a better map versus, as I like to deride, the get money hustler. I got to get money. With no rhyme or reason, just out there trying to get money. And it's a very temporal type of situation because there is no base to it. There's no foundation. But when you go through that process of discovery with your spouse, and it's like, okay, what are we going to do? What's best for the kids? Then you come up with a better plan. So for those of you who are, because I will share some of this. There are people in the Hustle Mindset Project who are never going to be resellers. They do it because it's kind of fun, but they want to do other stuff. And they are waiting for me to get real deep in the disruptive ninja, the internet marketing, the Kindle and stuff. Because people are looking at my life. And I'm home most of the time. I'm pretty much, I'll just give you an example. This morning, I had a friend that had to, it was a situation when I had a friend that had to pick him up at the MARTA station. Then I came back home. I went to breakfast, came back home, wrote 1,500 words. Then I went to the gym, worked out for an hour and a half. I came back, did some research, and now I am doing HUSTLENOMICS podcast. And then later on, I have to run out again. But I could kind of pick and choose. I could do this podcast now. I could do it later on. I could have did it, I have that option to make my life malleable around situations. So that's what a lot of people want, and that's going to be a big part of the Hustler Mindset Project, because reselling is cool, but as I put out in the video on YouTube the other day, and I've said it before about 2 years ago, and I'll say it again, I am going to be able, once I figure all this out, because I am still an infant in the world of being a content creator. 4 years, I'm just really, like I said, I'm really just starting to come on. There was a lot of mistakes, a lot of missteps, and I'm cool, and I'm totally cool with that because I didn't stop and I was able to build, which goes to my second point. When you're doing your new business, your business development map, you can't flake out when you have an experience that's not what's desired. You got to say, okay, this didn't work out, so we're going to move on to something else, because your core goals are, you want to, give you some firm numbers to grasp. Family, spouse, 2.2 kids. You want to shoot for 20 grand and still being able to keep the kids home with one parent and make that money. Because, see, this is the beauty of that. Because if you get to the 20 grand, you'll be able to double that by creating efficiencies in your business. So you can have a parent at home with the soon to be 3 kids, and then that person could be making $40,000, $50,000 a year. It's a totally different ballgame, because since that person has a legitimate business, they are open to more tax breaks. They're open to a lot of things that a person who has a job cannot get unless they have a business. And we'll talk about that. So shooting for 20, know what you have to do, but you want to still reserve time for the family. You still want to create a life. And the thing is, in the beginning, it's going to be very challenging, because anything that's new doesn't get built fast unless you put a lot of effort and time into it. That's just the way it is. But once you build it, I didn't put this on Facebook because I'm actually changing my Facebook policies. There's this couple, and if you want the link, I'll put it up in the Facebook group. They were about to lose their house a few years ago, and they're 2 school teachers. Then they have 5 kids, and the husband lost his job. The wife was only working as a school teacher. And school teachers do not make a lot of money. And they had these 5 kids. So they were maybe 30, 60 days from foreclosure. They started self-publishing romance novels on Kindle and was able to save their house. And I'm part of many writing groups, and I have friends who make $50,000 a month. I have friends who make $100,000 a month from their writing. Now, the people at the $50,000 to $100,000 are what the news likes to call hybrid authors. These were people that had traditional publishing deals, and they have anywhere from 20 to 50 books. They got their backlist back, and they started uploading it up on Kindle. So, it's not that easy. Now, I want you to understand this, and if you're a parent and you have little kids, what they did was very remarkable. They wrote 20 books in 6 months. Now, the beauty of this is they were a family unit. The husband and wife both were writing the books. So they created a factory of content, and they were doing more and more and more, and they're doing very, very well. So this is the beauty of the disruptive economy, because a little backstory, 5 years ago, what they did would have been impossible. The technology and distribution systems were new but unproven, and a lot of people, the early days of Kindle and ebooks, There were people putting together 15, 20-page reports and making $50 for those things because there wasn't competition. It was still kind of new. So essentially, because of the disruptive economy killing publishing traditional distribution channels, it opened up the door to so many wonderful things that there are more writers now than ever making a good part-time income to a livable or robust or even very lucrative income from writing, working from home. So you have that. Then you have consulting. So I tell you that story to say that there are things that are coming that do not exist yet that will enable you to be a part of the disruptive economy. And with the adaptation of new technology and knowing when, you have to get started on something, but keep your ear to the ground on these new developments. That's one of the reasons, I knew about Gumball. I knew about Ribbon 2 weeks when it came out because I'm in that space. So for your development map, it goes with your family goals, your life goals, and then you're doing something, you got to have those income goals. So whenever I put something out like, Gumball or Gumroad or Ribbon, you're like, oh, that's nice. And you'll kind of file it away if you need it or you're going to start a business that may need that stuff. But you realize that that's not really the thing that you need. Because there was a question in the Facebook group, and I meant to do this video a long time ago, about using Gumroad for physical products. Anytime you're dealing with a situation such as Amazon or Gumroad or Ribbon, all three give you a payout every 2 weeks or every 30 days. If you're selling physical products, you've got shipping, you've got the cost of the product, you have a lot of your money tied up. Now, based on a 30, 60, 90-day net, 2 weeks doesn't sound like a lot. But if you're a small business and you're running on fumes, 2 weeks could bury you. I'll share there was a time in my life when I was so poor and I got really frustrated. And this is probably one of the things that's driving me to this day. I was late paying rent, but I had a job. I actually had two jobs. And I actually had the money in the pay system. I had already earned enough money that if I could have accessed it, I wouldn't have been late on the rent and had to pay the late fee. And seriously, I was pissed for about a week because I was like, I got the money, but I can't get it. And that's one of the reasons that for me, because someone put it in another group, it's like, if you need your money that soon, that's like, dude, that's not the whole deal. I want access to my money when I earn it because it's my money for no other reasons. Don't care about, if you can go 30 days and don't need your money, fine. That's you and your life. Because it is real frustrating to have money, but you can't touch your money because of some arbitrary rule that doesn't really need to be in place. Prime example, Amazon, all these places, they do what's like a 60-day payout in the beginning. Your first 60 days on the platforms, you're not getting paid if you sell. And they, 30 days, and it really, even with returns, they could take that out of future earnings. There's really no reason for anyone to hold on to your money, but they do it because they can. And as more disruptive technology comes out, because I can tell you, Gumroad and Ribbon are probably going to start doing weekly disbursements, if not sooner, or let you draw your money out at will, but depending upon your level. It's coming because there's so much competition, and then when someone else does it and that other company does it so well, they force the hand of the company that doesn't. So this is the beauty of the disruptive economy. But with your development map, do this. Because if you've been a member of the Hustler Mindset group for a while, you should have done this. But if not, or you didn't do it the first time, take a moment and figure out where you want to be in terms of your family. When I say figure out, what type of house do you want? Exactly. You want a 2-car garage, 3-bedroom, brick, ranch. Exactly. Not just, I want a nice house. That does not work. Okay, you want the house, you want the car, whatever you want, put it on the sheet, get the real numbers, go look at houses, drive the cars, get the numbers of what it would take to get that item, and start basing your goals on that. Because once you have tangible numbers, and then, going back to what I put out into, how to get your number, you start breaking it down. It's like, oh, this is attainable. But when you just look at it as this big thing and it's just like, whoa, that's a lot, it's a little scary. But put together, the life goals. What kind of life you want? If you're not married, you want to be married, and put that on the sheet. I know people think, oh, that's crazy. When you get married, it's just going to happen. No, it doesn't happen. I know a lot of people that wanted to get married and came up with a plan and got married. I have a very good female friend that she had a plan on getting married in 2 years, and she made it happen. And I may actually have her come in here to talk about it because the way she did it was brilliant. And she can't really talk about it to too many women because it seems desperate that she actually wanted a man in her life and she wanted to have kids before her eggs decayed and fell out of her ovaries. But, that's another thing about the Hustle and Mindset Project. And I will speak to the women here. There's this notion that you can have it all. I used to work in a lab, and I've actually worked in fertility clinics. Many women start to become sterile at 35. Effectively, unless the woman's had children already, 45, pretty much sterile, except in extreme cases. Pretty much it's a wrap. Now, if the woman has had 2 or 3 kids already, it can happen because the body's prime. But many women are trading family for careers. And there are a lot of, you see on the news, the success stories, and with the advancement of medicine, women are able to have kids later and later, and the kids are coming out wonderful and healthy. You see the stories of affluent people. In vitro and this stuff, 10, 15, 20 grand a pop. It usually takes 3 times. You have couples spending nearly 6 figures to have a kid before the kid is here, and they're going to spend several $100,000 more in order to raise that child. It's an extremely expensive solution to something that doesn't have to be. But essentially, in terms of putting together your life plan, if you are a woman, you want to have kids, go with that plan. If you are a woman, you want to get married, put that on your sheet and put down this type of guy. I mean, seriously, if you've been a member of the Hustle Mindset, I write down what I want in terms of relationships, physical things, whatever, and I get it 9 times out of 10 because I, in my mind, create that reality because I've had the audacity to actually say I want such a thing. So I'm saying that to you that with the new disruptive economy, you could be a stay-at-home mom and make just as much as your husband, if not more. So it's not like in today that you have to stay at home and not make money and not develop a career and not do these things. You can actually be home with the kiddos and still make money. And I think that's a wonderful thing. That's what the disruptive economy, and like when I'm on YouTube and I get all these people who are stuck in, I am a reseller. It's car, you lift a shirt, there's a brand that says RS on their, or the top of their nipple. And they don't get it. Why would you do one thing when you have an option to do something else that would make you just as much money, if not more, with the same effort or less? But that's it. All right, I'm coming off my soapbox. But that's what you have to do to put together your development map. Because once you put it together and this new stuff that comes in and intersects, you're like, okay, that doesn't fit here with these things that were already established on what we want to do. So it becomes easier to make a decision whether to adapt this new technology or not because you already have a roadmap. And that's what I talk about, my development map. I'm an internet marketer. I'm a content creator. There's a lot of stuff that's available for me. And pretty much after I clear my plate, probably September, October, maybe sooner, it just depends. I'm really going to go hard with that because the opportunities are so wonderful in that realm now. When I first started in 2009 and I saw internet marketers, a lot of it was black hat, a lot of it was shady, slimy, that I really distanced myself away from those people because there was a lot of crazy stuff that was going on. There were people that were being de-Googled, where Google banned their website, banned their name, and you can't find them in Google. I mean, crazy stuff. So Now that it's more seasoned, better people out there, there's a lot of wonderful Google legal, people doing the right things. And there's a lot of ways to make money with being a content creator. And when we get to the section on creating your products, digital products, or even physical products, there's ways. It's just, I got to do more research because there's this one site and, there's been some issues, but the technology exists that if you want to create a physical product and for, say, $5,000, you could get the prototype, something simple, not overly involved, find a factory in China to make it for you, bring it over here and start selling it. At no point in history has it been that inexpensive. I mean, years ago, just to form the corporation and go through the legal proceedings would have been 5, 10, 15 grand. Just for that. For 5 to 10 G's, you can have a brand new product that came from your osmosis of your mental jungle out there in the marketplace, selling, making you money. If that doesn't make you excited, I'm sorry, I can't help you, because I try to share the benefit of my experience and what I went through. My 6 month in business with GC Solutions, that was the name of my contract office furniture company, I was $80,000 in debt. And, I was making it and the bills were paid and I could go out and do stuff and I wasn't suffering, but the pressure. I mean, you go look at your sheets and it's like, there's 20 grand in the bank. Oh, now $80,000 is due, in 30 days. And then the people pay you and it's like, there's 110,000. Oh, you read out the 80,000. I'm telling you, I just didn't like that cycle. And that's why I'm embracing this stuff, because, there are many people that don't like it because they feel that somehow it's unfair. But with Gumroad, I can create a product, I can market it, put it up there on their servers and sell it worldwide and make and keep 98% of the profit. That's never happened before in history, that you could create a situation like that and make so much profit fairly, legitimately, without fanfare and issue. It just excites me, and that's why, I'm back on my writing schedule, and my little fingers are typing, because just to share with you on my development map, and this is the 10-year plan, if I can have 100 pieces of content, and this is new content, well, include the 14 books, so that's like 86 more pieces. If I can put out 86 more pieces in terms of books or, webinars or whatever, timeless stuff, when I hit that number where I've got 100 of these things out in force and selling $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month, and I would never have to do anything else. Now, I would continue to work because, in 10 years, I would be like just 50-something, 56, 57, something like that. So I would still work, but I want to roll into retirement, I guess deeper retirement, because many of my friends think I'm kind of retired right now, with 20, 30, 40 grand coming in, because once again, for working in the medical field, the older you get, a lot of expenses disappear. Child rearing, college, house paid for, and your medical expenses go through the roof. I mean, there are people out there paying $1,200, $1,500 a month for medications that they must have to live. Don't want to be in that situation. Don't really want to be in that situation. I want to be able to live, be able to take care of myself, help my kids out if they need it, and still contribute to the world. So that's kind of my plan. That's what I'm working on, and I am really about to go nuts with it. And I want to bring as many of you on this journey as possible, because when we get to the content, creating products, some of the stuff that I will tell you just freaking blow your mind, because it's not as complex or overly involved as you would think. It's just a matter of having the audacity to do it. So with that, I'm going to end with these quick notes. Sit down, create your life plan before you create your business plan. Let me say that again. Create your life plan before you create your business plan. Once you have the life plan down, then create a business plan that wraps and goes nicely into your life plan. Everyone's going to have a different life plan. Everyone's going to have a different business plan. Understand if you got into reselling because, hey, you got laid off, you need to make some money. Totally get that. But start thinking larger, bigger, and more long term. Because another thing that I do is consulting with my friends who have businesses. And now I'm kind of like the business therapist, because some of them, one who has a great business, and it's so great, she's bored with it. It makes her a lot of money every month. She's just bored. She thought about selling it. I was like, you don't have to sell it. And I came up with a plan on her to reorientate her business where she got to do more of the fun stuff that she wanted to do. And I was like, don't ever sell this business. It makes too much money, and you built it up, you earn it. That would be crazy. And, now she's doing other stuff. So that's what we'll talk about. But for you, life plan before business plan. Then look around and think about your desires. Think about stuff that you like to do. We live in a world where there are kids going on the internet pulling boogers out of their nose and making $2,000 a month off their YouTube channel. I am quite sure there's something in your life that you like, passionate about, or really determined to do that you could put out there and make some scratch. All right, this is Glendon, and I will see you on the good side.